Hello everyone, this is Aman Agarwal, Assistant Professor from SRMS Trust Institution. So, here is another lecture on the communication protocol. Communication protocols are related to the subject microcontrollers for embedded system, which is studied by the third year of BTech, Electronics and Communication Engineering. So, let's start the communication protocols basics and their meaning. So here is the introduction of the communication protocol. As we all know, communication protocol comprises of two words, communication and protocol. So first of all, we have to deal with the definitions of these two terms, communication and protocol. So communication means, as we all know, exchange of information from one system to another with a medium is called a communication. Communication simply means the exchange of information from one source to the other destination. Now come to the protocol part. Protocol means a set of rules and regulations. So where there is a set of rules and regulation, so there is a protocol. Now communication protocol means a set of rules and regulations that allow two electronic devices to connect to exchange the data with one and another. So communication protocols deals with some rules and regulation according to which some information is to be exchanged between two different devices, electronic devices. Now, types of electronic communication protocol. These are called electronic communication protocol, not the basic communication protocol. So there are two types of electronics communication protocol. First one is inter-system protocol and the another one is intra-system protocol. As we all know the term inter and intra, it is easier to understand the definition. Inter-system protocol. It is used to communicate between two different electronic devices. Simply, it is used to communicate between two different electronic devices. And intra-system protocol, it is used to communicate between two devices within the circuit board. So if we have a PCB, so intra-system protocol is to be used to communicate between two devices on the same circuit board. Now, what is inter-system protocol? The inter-system protocol is used to communicate between two different devices. This is the definition of inter-system protocol. For example, communication between computer and microcontroller kit. If we have to communicate the microcontroller kit with the computer system, so there must be some inter-system protocol on which the rules are governed to communication between computer and the microcontroller kit. We generally use microcontroller kit to write a program, to demonstrate a program, and for that we have to write a program, we have to write a code on that microcontroller kit on that board. So we use the computer or Proteus software to write a code on the controller. So there is a communication between microcontroller kit and computer, connection between microcontroller kit and computer, and this connection must be supported, must be governed by some rules, which is called inter-system protocol. So this is achieved through a inter-system bus. Inter-bus system means wired or without wire. Wire communication, if we connect the microcontroller kit to the computer, so this is called the inter-bus system. As we can see the diagram, this is a CPU or computer, this is microcontroller kit, and there is some inter-bus system which connects both the electronic devices. Now next protocol is, so there are some categories of inter-system protocols. Different categories are UART protocol, USART protocol and USB protocol. We are familiar with the UART protocol. UART is Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter Protocol. USART is Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter Protocol, and USB is Universal Serial Bus Protocol. USB is widely used in various electronic devices. So first one is UART protocol. UART stands for Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. UART protocol is a serial communication with two-wired protocol. UART is the basic of inter-system protocol which deals with asynchronous transmitter and receiver. UART protocol is a serial communication with two-wired protocol. The data cable signal lines are labeled as receiver and transmitter. So there are two systems, one is receiver and one is transmitter. Serial communication is commonly used for transmitting and receiving the signal. As we all know, the serial communication means the serially transmitting the data to transmit or to receive the data, transmit from the transmitter and receive by the receiver. It transfers and receives the data serially bit by bit without clock pulses. So there is no use of the clock pulses in UART protocol, which makes it easier and simpler protocol. The UART takes bytes of data and send the individual bits in sequential manner. So it take the whole byte of the data and then divide it into the bit by bit and send the sequentially bit to the receiver. UART is a half duplex protocol. Now what is the meaning of half duplex? We should be familiar with the term half duplex. Half duplex means transferring and receiving the data but not at the same time. So one device can transmit or receive the data at a time. The transmission and reception cannot be achieved simultaneously. This means the half duplex mode. For examples, emails, SMS, walkie-talkie, etc. So these are half duplex protocols. Next one is USART protocol. USART stands for Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Transmitter and Receiver. In this USART protocol, it is differ from the UART protocol in the way that it deals also with the synchronous transmitter and receiver, and where synchronous comes, which means the clock pulses are required. So it is a serial communication of two-wire protocol. The data cable signals line are labeled as receiver and transmitter. So again, there are two systems, one is transmitter and one is receiver, and this protocol is used for transmitting and receiving the data byte by byte along with clock pulses. So I have as I have just said, where synchronous comes, so there must be clock pulses for the synchronization purpose. So this protocol needs some clock pulses, and it takes the data byte by byte and sends it byte by byte to the receiver. It is a full duplex protocol. Full duplex means again the transmission and reception of the data can be done simultaneously. This is full duplex mode, transmitting and receiving data simultaneously. So different devices communicate with microcontroller to this protocol. For example, telecommunications. Next protocol is USB protocol. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. USB is a well-known term to everyone which use a computer or microcontroller. USB is a very easy to handle and very easy to access. So USB protocol is widely used in electronic devices. It is a serial communication of two-wire protocol. But in this protocol, the data cable signal lines are labeled as D plus and D minus. So there is no receiver and transmitter type, but The data cable signal lines are labeled as D plus and D minus. This protocol is used to communicate with the system peripherals. USB protocol is used to send and receive the data serially to the host and peripheral devices. USB communication requires a driver software which is based on the functionality of the system. So every system needs a driver to support the USB or USB transmission. So to work with the USB protocol, there is a driver on the system, and every system needs this driver to cope with the USB protocol. USB device can transfer data on the bus without any request on the host computer. For example, mouse, keyboard, hubs, switches, pen drive, etc. We generally use the pen drive to the USB port to communicate with the computer through the USB port, and it supports through the USB protocol. So as we all know about the UART, USART and USB protocol, let's look at the differences between these three inter-system protocols. First one is UART. So you can see the difference between these three protocols. First column, it has UART protocol. In second column, it is USART protocol. In the third column, it is USB protocol. So we will discuss these points one by one. So first point is UART stands for Universal Asynchronous Transmitter and Receiver. So this is the definition of these protocols. UART means Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. USART means Universal Synchronous and Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter, and USB means Universal Serial Bus. The next point is it is a two-wire protocol, receiver and transmitter. Similar with the USART, it is also a two-wire protocol with the receiver and transmitter, but in USB there is a difference. It is a two-wire protocol but named as D plus and D minus. Third one is it is transmitting and receiving packets of the data byte by byte without clock pulses, but in USART it is send and receive a block of data along with clock pulses. So clock pulses are required in the USART mode. In USB, send and receiving the data along with clock pulses. So the clock pulses are also required in the USB mode. Fourth point is UART is a half duplex communication mode. USART is a full duplex communication mode. Now what is half duplex and full duplex? We have discussed it earlier. USB, it is also a full duplex communication mode. UART, next point, it is slow compared with USART. USART, it is slow compared with USB, and USB, in comparison of all these three inter-system protocol, USB is the fastest protocol, and so it is widely used to communicate with the other electronic devices. Now come to the other part of the protocols, intra-system protocol. So this is the second type of protocol, intra-system protocol. The intra-system protocol is used to communicate the two devices within the circuit board. If we have to communicate two different parts of the same motherboard or same board, then we use intra-system protocol. If we want to communicate the microcontroller with the say for example the ADC part or DAC or the Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi module, then some intra-system protocol must be there. While using this intra-system protocols, without going to intra-system protocol, we will expand the peripherals to the microcontroller. The circuit complexity and power consumption will be increased by using intra-system protocol. It is but obvious if we use intra-system protocol, we need some more extra power to deal with it. Using intra-system protocol, circuit complexity and power consumption and cost is decreased. Now this is the microcontroller, this is some external device on the board, and this is intra-system bus which supports the intra-system protocol. Now there are three categories of intra-system protocol. We will discuss it one by one, and these three categories are I2C protocol, SPI protocol, and CAN protocol. The first one is Inter-Integrated Circuit Protocol, which is in short called I2C protocol. So these I2C requires only two wires connecting all peripherals to microcontroller. So it doesn't require the number of wires, but it requires only two wires connecting all peripherals to the microcontroller. I2C requires two wires SDA, serial data line, and SCL, serial clock line, to carry information between devices. It is a master to slave communication protocol. So the master slave system is provided here to use the I2C protocol. Each slave has a unique address. Master device sends the address of this slave or the target and read write flag. The address is matched to any slave device, and if that device is on, remaining slave devices are in disable mode. So once the address is matched, communication proceeds between master and that slave device whose address will be matched earlier, and transmitting and receiving the data starts. So if the address of the slave device is matched with the address sent by the master device, then only the communication must be started. The transmitter sends 8-bit data. The receiver replies 1 bit of acknowledgement. So it is 8:1 communication mode, which means transmitter sends 8-bit of data and receivers acknowledged it with 1 bit. When the communication is completed, master issues the stop condition. I2C requires only two wires for connecting all the peripherals to the controller. So it doesn't require a huge number of wires, but I2C requires only two wires for connecting all the peripherals to the microcontroller. So this is the basics of the I2C protocol, inter-integrated circuit protocol. Now come to the next protocol, which is SPI protocol. This SPI stands for Serial Peripheral Interface. It is one of the serial communication protocol developed by Motorola. So the manufacturer of this protocol is Motorola. All the credit goes to Motorola for this SPI protocol. Sometimes SPI protocol is also called a 4-wire protocol. Earlier we have seen that I2C is a 2-wire protocol, but SPI is a 4-wire protocol. It requires 4 wires: MOSI, MISO, SS, and S clock. SPI protocol is used to communicate the master and slave devices. So again, here is also the master slave system. The master first configures the clock using a frequency. The master then selects the particular slave devices for communication by pulling the chip select button. So by using the chip select module, the master selects one of the slave which has to be communicated through the master. That particular slave device is selected and starts the communication between master and that particular slave. The master selects only slave at a time, and it is done by the chip selection. And SPI protocol is a full duplex communication protocol. So this is all about the SPI protocol. Come to the next protocol, which is CAN protocol. CAN, CAN protocol. CAN stands for Controller Area Network. It is a serial communication protocol. It is also a serial one. It requires two wires, CAN high and CAN low, which is abbreviated as H plus and H minus. So CAN high is H plus and CAN low is H minus. It was developed by the Robert Bosch Company in 1985 for vehicle networks. It is based on a message oriented transmission protocol. So this is the introduction and basic of a CAN protocol. Now we can see the difference between these three inter-system protocols, and these three inter-system protocols are I2C, SPI and CAN. So let's see the differences one by one. First one is I2C stands for inter-integrated circuit. The first point is about the definition of these three protocols. SPI stands for serial peripheral interface and CAN stands for controller area network. Second point is it is developed by the Philips, SPI is developed by the Motorola and CAN is developed by the Robert Bosch Company. Third point is I2C is a half duplex protocol. SPI, it is a full duplex protocol, and CAN, it is also a full duplex protocol. So this is the third difference between these three inter-system protocols. Fourth point is synchronization is needed in I2C protocol, and where synchronization comes, the needed of clock pulses comes. So I2C protocol use the clock pulses to communicate through the devices, to communicate between the devices. And the same is with the SPI protocol. So SPI protocol also uses the clock pulses to transmit the data between two on-board devices. CAN protocol also needs synchronization, and for the synchronization, CAN uses the clock pulses to communicate between two different electronic devices or parts of the circuit on board. Next point is I2C is two-wire protocol, and the two wires are SCL and SDL. These SCL and SDL have discussed earlier. SPI protocol, it is a four-wire protocol, and the four wires are SCL, MISO, MOSI and SS. These four wires have been discussed also earlier. CAN, it is a four-wire protocol. The CAN is also a two-wire protocol, and the two wires are abbreviated as CAN H plus and CAN H minus. The next point is I2C is a multi-master protocol. So in I2C, it is a very essential point that in I2C we can have more than one master. So it is called multi-master protocol. As we have discussed earlier, some protocols has the limitation that it can only have one master and several slaves, but I2C protocol can also have multiple masters. So it is called multi-master protocol. SPI, it is a single master protocol, and CAN, it is a special feature of the CAN protocol that it is also a multi-master protocol. So it can serve through the multiple masters and multiple slaves. The last point is within the circuit board, I2C deals the communication within the circuit board. SPI also within the circuit board can be used to communicate or to develop a communication between two different circuit boards. So this is the main feature of the CAM. So here are the differences between these three inter-system protocol. Thank you for listening. Thank you.